want to chime in on Seahawks? What you thought of their first week, Mina?
It kind of looked like what I expected, Rich, which is one of the best defenses in the NFL. I truly believe that. And I think the offense is just a work in progress. A lot of moving parts, a lot of change. I think Clint Kubiak wants to run a system where Sam Darnold is under center, play action, wide zone rushing attack. But it's one thing to want to do that. It's another when you're a little bit outgunned on the offensive line. I think you also saw outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba, just not many answers in terms of that receiving group, and he locked in on JSN, and JSN was fantastic, but I think that's going to be a problem all season long.
Okay, so your level of concern for Sam Darnold is what? What do you think?
I'm not panicking because I don't think he played super poorly per se, but I also think he's so clearly in an inferior situation to what he was in Minnesota, and that's what it looked like, right? So I think it's just going to be, I think he'll be competent for them. I think there'll be games against inferior defenses where this offense looks good. I just don't think they have enough dudes out there. They need like one of the young players, whether it's a Torrey Horton or an Elijah Arroyo, to step up as a secondary pass catcher to Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper Kupp, maybe it's just another couple of weeks to see if they can get on a similar page, because that's the idea. That's why they paid him all that cash to come from Los Angeles, right? Like to be the man. And that didn't happen in week one, for instance.
I think it's going to have to be a youth movement there. And then you got old friend DK Metcalf coming to town this week. And I guess you could call it a revenge game, who I thought looked really good week one in that game against the Jets. And it's not like they chose Cooper Kupp over DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is making significantly more money than him, and they got third-round draft pick. But it is hard not to feel like this receiving group is missing something.
Mina Kimes here on the Rich Eisen Show. And then what's your opinion of Mac Jones coming in now? I was saying earlier on, Mina, that this is why you got him. You got him to perform well in a 2 to 5 week situation. And this is the guy that we all thought, or a lot of people thought, the Niners were targeting when they moved up to third overall back in the draft in 2021. So they like him. Now it's time to win with him.
Yeah,
Ironic.
I am of the belief that Kyle Shanahan did always want Mac Jones, and because he just had a lot of the qualities it seemed as a prospect that Shanahan has been known to like in his quarterbacks. I question whether or not the situation around Mac Jones is good enough to enable this offense to keep rolling. We know Kittle's out. Watching them week ones against Seattle, the offensive line, to me, had a lot of problems. Brock Purdy was under pressure a lot. Admittedly, again, like I said, against a very, very good defense. The run game looked just okay with McCaffrey back. And, of course, you don't have Brandon Ayuk. Ricky Pearsall looked good. But this is not like Mac Jones getting into the Ferrari and getting given the keys. If this was a couple of years ago, I would feel very different about him being slotted into this. And of course, Kyle Shanahan's, one of the best play callers in the business, but this is not a great situation that he is stepping into. So I'm pretty skeptical of this Niners offense with him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you don't want to go to your backup quarterback just 2 games into a season. That's not why you have the backup quarterback, but it is in case of emergency break glass. I don't know. I feel like he is going to show up and show out, similar to when Darnold had his cup of coffee there in San Francisco, and that's why you go there, is to get the quarterback room and the Shanahan knowledge. And this is the type of quarterback that the Shanahans have been sort of looking at for a long time, and they do go to New Orleans, which did give Arizona some shots on Sunday. I'm just wondering if fourth place schedule, this is exactly the sort of thing that the Niners can get through before Purdy comes back.
The schedule's huge, and you're right to emphasize the New Orleans. The competition is big. Like they can absolutely win this game, in part because they're playing the Saints, who I really do think are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. But when I think you go into this Niners season, you think there's no way they can be as hurt as last year. Can't happen.
Right.
Injury luck in the NFL doesn't work that way. And then it just happens again. And I know the schedule is bad, but I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine them winning a lot of games with Mac Jones. I could be wrong, and they might win this one because it's New Orleans, but I just don't think that pieces around him are what they were a few years ago.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.